Morning in the agricultural lands of the American South does not begin with bird song or the smell of fresh soil. It begins with strips of earth torn open along the edges of the fields. The landowner told us about rows of young crops destroyed overnight, where wild hog tracks cross the ground like a familiar map. For them, every day of delay means another part of the harvest disappears. Today's operation did not come from a long-term plan, but from immediate pressure. Intervene now, before the damage grows beyond control. One animal appeared early near the edge of the cultivated land, moving slowly and showing no urgency. Individuals like this often act as scouts, checking whether the area is still safe enough for the rest of the sounder to enter. Controlling this one was never about numbers, it was about cutting off the signal of safety it might leave behind. In farming regions like this, preventing the herd from forming can sometimes matter more than dealing with the entire group afterward. Farther along the hillside, a larger sounder emerged. They spread out in position, focused on rooting for food beneath the soil. In this situation, the team did not attempt a direct approach. Positions had been assigned in advance, each person holding a separate line of observation, surrounding the herd from multiple angles. When one animal was controlled, the entire group immediately scattered, losing its original cohesion. Breaking the herd structure made it far less likely they would return together, sharply reducing the immediate pressure on the farmers' crops. After the larger herd dispersed, the area became quiet in a deceptive way. A few isolated animals returned to investigate, moving more cautiously and without their earlier confidence. Because positions had already been established, the team did not need to move again or create new pressure. The value of this stage lies in patience, allowing the herd's own confusion to guide the situation in a direction favorable to both the team and the landowners. One wild hog had been neutralized. The people here had one less burden to worry about.
God.
In another area, a smaller group gathered beneath a large tree, where the soil was soft and marked with old rooting scars. This was the kind of repeated gathering point that develops over time, not random movement in a single day. Control here carries long-term importance because it disrupts an established behavioral pattern. For farmers, reducing gathering points like this means reducing constant pressure throughout the growing season. At the very least, it makes the animals less likely to return for a time. Not long after, 3 more appeared close together, gathered in an open patch beside the woods. They barely moved, suggesting the area was already familiar to them and had faced little pressure in the past. Rather than disrupting the whole group at once, selective control helps keep the surrounding area stable. This approach reduces the chance of the remaining animals panicking, running deeper into the fields, or splitting apart to cause damage in multiple directions. Just when things seemed stable, a lone animal appeared, moving without direction as if searching for the herd that had scattered earlier. Individuals like this are often the final link, keeping an area hopeful in the eyes of the group. Early intervention helps close that movement cycle, preventing this one from returning to guide the herd back in the days ahead. In real-world control operations across the United States, knowing when to end can be just as important as knowing when to begin. In wildlife control, the goal is not to eliminate every risk. It is to reduce risk to a level people can live with. In the United States, operations like this are not viewed as hunting, but as part of protecting harvests and livelihoods. If you live or work in agricultural regions facing wild hog pressure like this, follow our channel to better understand how control teams operate in the real world. In southeastern Oklahoma, a quiet town suddenly lost its familiar rhythm. Cool weather after days of rain created the perfect conditions for wild hogs to run rampant. Every inch of farmland was churned and destroyed. The threat had crossed the line, not only destroying gardens, but these beasts even charged at hikers and campers. Anxiety crept into every home. We knew it was time to stand up and protect our beloved land. Let the intense journey begin. Confronting the ferocity of the herd, we quickly deployed our pre-planned ambush tactics. The team moved deep into thick, dry brush, the hog's favorite haunts. Knowing the prey's habits helped us spot the first target. Determined to prevent any attack, the shot rang out. The wild hog was down instantly. A dramatic opening that ignited determination in every team member. We continued the chase. Suddenly, a loud roar grabbed everyone's attention. A few steps further, we spotted the target hiding behind a bush. It ran frantically, tried to escape the barrel of death. Determined to restore peace to the village, I aimed and fired. Another threat eliminated. Moving westward, Nick's iPhone 17 Pro Max bust. A local reported hogs raiding nearby fields. We immediately mobilized, ready to hunt down the targets. Facing a more complex situation than expected, the team switched tactics. Nick's squad would create a distraction to draw them out, while John and I lay in ambush along the trail. Soon, a dark shadow charged. John's shot was enough to take it down. Thanks to smart strategy and calm execution, we neutralized the threat, reclaiming every inch of safety for the farmers. The recent shots threw the area into chaos. We moved to a spot with better visibility. While chatting to ease tension, I identified a target and acted. One shot, the hog dropped immediately. If you found that shot impressive, leave a like. Remember, every action was fully legal, strictly adhering to U.S. hunting regulations. As evening approached, temperatures dropped, the perfect time for the hogs to forage. When the dry grass rustled, the target bolted. John sprinted into position, raised his rifle, locked on, and squeezed the trigger. A clean shot, a victory born from reflexes, courage, and years of disciplined training. Before the rifle cooled, Nick's team drove several more aggressive hogs toward us. Determined to prevent any further fear for the locals, I raised my gun and fired. Bang! The final target of the day was down. The smell of gunpowder mingled with dust and sweat after a long day of hunting. The Nissan Titan was loaded with our hard-earned results, ready to roll back home with pride. The battle to protect these lands is far from over, and neither are we.
When fall rolls in, worry follows close behind for farmers. Wild boars are highly intelligent, aggressive animals, and once the season turns, they move in, tearing through orchards, destroying months and years of hard work. In just a few nights, the damage can climb into the millions for local communities. There's no time to hesitate, no room for delay. A plan has to be put in motion, fast. This time, we step into the field with more determination than ever before. This is not just another hunt. It's a mission to protect the land, the harvest, and the natural balance this community depends on. Dawn is just breaking. Pale light filters through the canopy above. The scent of crushed fruit still hangs in the air. Deep gashes carved into the tree trunks tell us one thing for sure. The boars were here, and they haven't been gone long. We split into two teams. One moves in from the west. The other swings wide from the east, cutting off their escape routes. The formation settles in, and that's when the opportunity presents itself. This move doesn't just solve an immediate problem, it reinforces our responsibility to protect the natural balance and the livelihoods built here over generations. This is invasive species control, carried out strictly under U.S. wildlife management laws. The signs are clear, but the animal's speed and ability to disappear into cover make every step tense. Then suddenly, hound voices break the silence in the distance. That sound changes everything. It's a signal we cannot ignore. We shift positions immediately, setting up an intercept. In a moment of tight coordination between hunters and dogs, a large boar is contained within a controlled and safe perimeter. With the western side secured, a new report comes in from scouts. Another group is pushing in from the east. Not a massive sounder, but enough to complicate the situation. We deploy a funnel trap strategy, narrowing their movement, easing pressure on the orchard, and allowing the team to regain control step by step, safely and efficiently. Tension builds with every passing minute. I follow the tracks, then hear a faint rustle. I stop, watch closely. A boar bursts through the brush at full speed. Relying on instinct sharpened over years in the field, I lock onto the target at just under 200 yards. Clean, precise, fully within the framework of U.S. wildlife regulations. If you find this kind of real-world decision-making valuable, leave a comment and let us know. You'll see more field missions like this. Moving deeper into the heart of the orchard, the team sets up a layered trap system. It works like an invisible net. If an animal slips through the first point, it's stopped at the third or the fourth. When the signal comes up from the lower team, the intercept unit locks the situation down immediately. No individual breaks through this perimeter. This method keeps the area stable, safe, and protected for the long term. The operation continues until evening light fades behind the trees. The team conducts one final sweep, checking every section for fresh signs of intrusion. Through coordination, discipline, and patience, the pressure from the wild boars is lifted. The orchard returns to a stable state, at least for today. But this is not the end. With an invasive species that reproduces as fast as wild boars, safety only lasts when people stay proactive, responsible, and act at the right time. Early management is always better than late recovery. We'll be here when needed to protect the harvest, the community, and the balance of this land. In these forests, just one enraged wild boar is enough to put the whole area on alert. And today, we're out here on the ground, accompanying the control team tasked with protecting nearby communities. Wild boar numbers in Turkey are exploding. They appear without warning, tear through crops, destroy soil, and have caused more than a few injuries to people in the woods. Farmers call them the shadows of the fields, because in a single night, they can wipe out months of hard work. The control team must intervene, at the right time, in the right way, and within the law. This isn't recreation. This is responsibility. To the land, to the environment, and to the people who live around these forests. Wild boar in Turkey behave differently from boar in Texas. They're bolder, less afraid of human noise, and tend to move in tighter formations. That means controlling them requires a different tactic, less about speed, more about reading the mountain terrain and their pack behavior. We start by following their signs. The ground is freshly torn, moist dirt kicked aside, new trails carved through the brush. Proof the herd passed only minutes earlier. The team leader signals silently. Everyone falls into formation. This is the most critical step, one member whispers. Read the tracks wrong, and you might meet the whole herd at dangerously close range. The team shifts into Surek Avi, a traditional pressure and drive method. Hunters spread into a wide arc, each keeping strict spacing. No one pushes ahead, no one breaks position. Dry leaves crackle, breathing grows heavier with the climb. There's no chaos here, only calm movements, skill, and field experience. In the forest, the danger isn't the noise, it's the silence. When the birds stop, the wind pauses, and the woods feel tense. It usually means the herd is changing direction or preparing to break through. Veteran hunters in America call this reading the silence, a skill taught only by time. Minutes later, a massive boar steps out of the tree line, far larger than normal, easily over 130 kilograms. Everything slows. A few team members adjust their stance to avoid crossing each other's firing lanes. Boars have a sense of smell 1,000 times stronger than humans. In Surek Avi, the team always positions themselves with the wind blowing from the herd toward them, never the other way around. A tiny mistake in wind direction can turn the entire hunt upside down. The moment lasts only seconds, but feels like a stretched wire ready to snap. Without warning, another boar bursts from the brush, charging straight at the lead hunter. A full-grown boar can knock a man down like nothing. The team reacts instantly, opening a lane, sidestepping left, blocking its escape route. Even the most experienced hunters stay on high alert for this. A boar can change direction in the blink of an eye. In the northern pine forest, the team spots a big herd heading toward a valley filled with farms. Everyone accelerates, shifting into a stronger push formation. Each member controls their pace, firing angles, and the herd's direction, making sure the boars don't spill into residential land. This phase demands absolute focus, maintaining safe spacing between hunters while guiding a high-risk herd away from civilization. At the last ridge, the team finally sees the herd's path from above. From here, they identify exactly which areas must stay protected, and which direction the herd must not be allowed to enter. Push them toward the eastern thicket, the commander orders. Everyone moves into their assigned positions, sealing off the dangerous routes. Within minutes, the herd is driven deep back into the forest, far from any farmland. No extra action needed, no unnecessary risk taken. Today, the forest is safe again, but the fight against this aggressive invasive species never truly ends. The wild boars will return, and the silent guardians of these woods will be ready every time. In the scorching midday heat, news came in that a wild boar herd had suddenly stormed through the fields, causing chaos and panic across the region. Without wasting a second, the protection hunting team immediately set out, heading straight for their hideout. Ahead of us, danger looms. Behind us, the livelihoods of countless families depend on our success. Will our determination be strong enough to stop these monsters? Stay with us until the end to find out how this tense showdown unfolds. In our kayak boat, we quietly glide into what we believe is the boar's mud bath gathering spot. Our sharp eyes scan every inch of the surrounding area, missing nothing. And there it is! The victory sounds echo briefly, but with unwavering resolve. This is a challenge, but more than that, it's a responsibility to preserve the life and peace of this land. With our fighting spirit intact, the team immediately spreads out, encircling and blocking every possible escape route within the tangled swamp. The airboats speed up, closely tracking the wild boars, which are charging at incredible speed through their own territory. The synchronicity of the team becomes a key factor, opening up an opportunity for Jack to deliver the decisive blow. This isn't just a counterattack, It's a declaration of ownership and responsibility for protecting the villagers. The tension remains high, and John is about to make a bold decision. As he receives the target signal, he quietly leaves the boat and moves stealthily toward the target. There it is. Despite the distance, John maintains complete control over the situation. His refined skills and relentless training have molded him into a resilient marksman, steady in his mission to protect the crops and the lives of the people in this land. Thanks to his bold decision, John manages to approach several targets hidden deep within the swamp's corners. Each precise shot forces the boars to retreat, pulling the hidden dark figures out into the open. Without a hint of panic, John knows we are ready for anything. His calmness and battle-hardened composure turn every danger into an opportunity for this mission, which is nearing its victorious conclusion. When we finally locate them, a swift charge surrounds and neutralizes the elusive creatures quickly, precisely and decisively. Within minutes, the swamp quiets down, the only sound being the scattered remains of the fallen boars. Clear evidence of the team's coordination and relentless determination. Wild boars are known for being tough adversaries, but today, the team's preparation has made the mission smoother, bringing us closer to victory. As the afternoon sun begins to set, the hunt enters a more difficult phase, as the trail of the wild boars begins to fade. But our pursuit remains undeterred. After 15 minutes, the last of the dark shapes is finally found. The echoes of the chase and the cheers of victory quickly follow. Our mission to protect this land can now come to an end. Today's hunt wasn't just about winning a battle, it was about protecting a community, a deep reminder of humanity's responsibility toward nature. Every decision was made under the permission of the authorities, ensuring ecological balance and the protection of the wild populations. Every step, every shot is a blend of skill, teamwork, and determination. While we've captured a significant number of wild boars, bringing peace to the fields, this journey isn't over yet. Before the sun fully rose over the eastern US, the feral hogs were already moving, wreaking havoc across the fields. For professional hunters like us, this is the moment to step out, facing the raw challenge and provocation of these wild beasts. Every move is more than a hunt. It's a battle of wits against instinct, survival, and sheer force. After 3 days of tracking and observation, I had learned the habits and movement patterns of this group. Today, my team and I decided to test whether our skills and instincts had dulled. Less than a minute of waiting, the shadow finally appeared. As if expecting it, there was no surprise, only admiration for the skill and experience required to face such sudden, destructive threats. The first clear victory was quickly followed by more hogs still hiding. In open terrain like this, everything comes into view fast. From the edges of the field, herds and lone hogs began pushing forward. I couldn't stop them all alone, but no worries. They were heading straight for John's kill point. True to form, John controlled the situation flawlessly. The impending threat about to flood the field was neutralized by the skill and experience of one expert hunter. Our defensive line was deployed perfectly. From the field's edges to deep inside, my teammates lay in ambush, ready to strike any target that appeared. The battle lasted only a few hours, but the results sent a clear warning. Any intruder would think twice before crossing these fields again. On the western edges of the field, a few of us held position. Silence descended, but vigilance never wavered. Then, a sudden bark tore through the quiet. This hog had to weigh over 200 kilograms. You can imagine what it could do with those tusks if we hadn't reacted in time. Like and share to give our team motivation to bring you even more intense and high-quality hunting footage. At the decisive moment, John's refined technique and steel nerves shone. Every shot he took was not only perfectly accurate, but eliminated threats before they could even form. Even the craftiest phantoms in this field couldn't act without John's command. This wall of control was proof of his authority, composure, and lethal precision. Before the dust could settle, new targets appeared. Without hesitation, we handled each one cleanly, even the smallest shadows. Every shot was executed with authority and sacred responsibility, protecting the crops, safeguarding the local community, and maintaining peace across the fields.
A once peaceful countryside in Morocco has been thrown into chaos as wild boars multiply across the region. Few could imagine the destruction these beasts bring. In a single night, barley fields and olive groves are torn apart, leaving fear and frustration in their wake. The village's calm is under siege, and we know it's time to take action, to head out and hunt these invaders, protecting the homeland we love. At dawn, our team gathers at Nick's house. Rifles checked, scopes aligned, spare rounds ready. We're set for the mission ahead. By 6:30, we push deep into the orange groves, scanning the terrain and finalizing our movement plan. Before we're even done talking, dark shapes dart across the field. Instantly, everyone takes position, eyes locked, hearts steady. The herd bolts for the thickets. I line up my shot and squeeze the trigger. One clean hit, the boar drops. Our first success of the day, and the crops behind us are safe. The hunt has officially begun. A few lucky boars break free from our initial volley, racing toward a narrow forest trail. From above, the drone spots them weaving through the brush. The hounds close in, flushing them into the open. My scope locks on target, one decisive pull of the trigger, and the beast collapses. The teamwork between man and dog pays off perfectly, precise, efficient, exactly as planned. Not far away, Nick has his eyes on another wild boar near the trail. The animal bursts out, charging fast. Nick gives chase. The boar catches sight of him and turns aggressive, ready to strike, but it's too late. Nick locks on, whispers his ritual, time to meet the reaper, and fires. One shot, clean and final. The beast drops. I exhale in relief watching him finish the job, restoring calm to the land once more. What do you think of that moment? Share your thoughts below. As we move to another site, faint rustles in the brush grab our attention. Years of experience and the dog's sharp barks tell me it's close. I take position, waiting. Just as predicted, the boar bursts from cover. No hesitation. I raise my rifle, aim steady, and fire. The bullet hits its flank, but the beast manages to flee downhill. Minutes later, we find it collapsed beside a creek. It's moments like these that test a hunter's nerve and skill. And today, we've proven once again that courage and precision restore peace to our lands. As dusk settles, we get a call from Farmer. The boars have returned. We spin the trucks around and race back to the orange grove with renewed determination. The team fans out, closing the circle. The herd bolts, straight toward John's ambush point. A massive boar charges through. John steadies his aim and fires. One perfect shot, the giant drops where it stands. From now on, these fields can finally rest. No more ruined harvests, no more sleepless nights for the villagers. Every shot we take is a promise, trading gunfire for peace. The confrontation ends, and the countryside breathes easy again. We ride back in the 2025 Ford Ranger, the truck bed loaded with hefty wild boars, and hearts light with the satisfaction of protecting our community.
For the past 3 days, the forest has been eerily silent. No tracks, no sounds, only the cold and suspicion creeping into every step. But today, the first sunlight breaks through. From my experience, this is exactly when the wild boars start moving. We immediately adjust our strategy, putting all our hope on one last ambush point. The chance is still there, but will nature be on our side? Don't take your eyes off. The tension is just beginning. Armed with specialized weapons and modern gear, we move straight to our assigned positions. After days of waiting, the wild boars finally show up. Quickly, we adjust our scopes and track their direction. The first shot rings out, taking down the lead boar. The rest scatter, but other shooters are ready. Signals are passed. Every position coordinates flawlessly, cutting off every escape route. This encounter is not just a test of patience and tactics, it's a mark of the team's synergy and rare luck. Continuing the chase, we move to higher ground, expanding our view over the foothills. Familiar shadows swiftly dart across our sight. The first bullet fires, but the distance makes a clean kill tough. Even with clearer vision, these agile black shapes vanish quickly, leaving a sting of regret, heightening the hunt's intensity. Seeing the pressure mount, Nick acts fast. He sends a lookout up high to spot targets and immediately alert the team below for a swift strike. Once the plan kicks in, each wild boar that appears is quickly surrounded. No escape routes left. After relentless pressure, we finally reclaim this area from the beast's claws. The detonations ring out, startling the boars into a panicked retreat down the hillside, hiding deep in thick brush. Kevin's team is immediately tasked with controlling this zone. After hours of intense tracking, each target falls, one by one. Peace is restored. While Kevin fights hard, the hunting dogs don't miss a beat, sniffing out the prey quickly. The boars rush forward in desperation. Look, the hounds remember their craft perfectly, leading the way and forcing the boar into the open. Thanks to them, my shot lands just in time, taking down the target before it escapes. One more threat neutralized, bringing peace back to the locals. Meanwhile, on the eastern hillside, Nick's team faces a tense chase. After nerve-wracking moments, he finally intercepts the wild boars as planned. Using every skill, Nick tightens the pressure, leaving no chance for escape. A deadly volley ends the thrilling pursuit. As evening light fades and darkness creeps in, the last targets reveal themselves just before nightfall. Within minutes, none can outrun the precise, decisive shots fired. At last, the locals can breathe easy, no longer fearing the destructive wild boars. The dense forests of Tuscany are not only beautiful, but also filled with countless mysteries and challenges. Here, wild boars, intelligent and powerful creatures, have the ability to blend seamlessly into the thick foliage, making hunting them an arduous trial. They are not just prey, but a true test of skill, patience, and the ability to handle the wild. That's why we decided to step into this forest, not only to hunt, but to conquer the challenges it presents. The early morning mist still clung to the forest as we arrived, ready to face the challenge that awaited us. Armed with specialized weapons and necessary support gear, we entered a hunt full of danger. Sensing that this area would likely reveal a target, I decided to take up a concealed position. Then, a familiar pungent scent hit the air, one I knew well. A series of shots rang out, aimed directly at the source of the smell. Precisely, there it was, the wild boar. Quickly advancing, the dark figure was not easily defeated, standing like an immovable rock. My finger tightened on the trigger, and the shot rang out. Precise, disabling the boar's fierce resistance. A perfect start, signaling a journey full of promise. Advancing deeper into the forest, every step we took was cautious, not daring to relax even for a moment. The hunting dogs pressured a target, their barking relentless, like the sound of a death toll. The boar tried to escape, but all its escape routes were sealed. At close range, Jay took his shot. prey collapsed, ending its futile attempt to flee. Thanks to the seamless coordination and patience of our dogs, we had all the time and space needed to act. With the perfect range, Jay faced no obstacles. The bold, precise shot sealed the fate of this destructive creature. After surveying the terrain, we realized the wild boars here were incredibly smart. Whether alone or in a group, they always hid within the dense canopy, highly alert to any movement around them. We decided to spread out into different areas, each of us taking up a position to easily spot and deal with the targets. It wasn't long before a familiar figure appeared within our sights. The moment had arrived, and a precise shot was fired. The boar collapsed immediately. At the same time, Jay's shots rang out from the west, loud and rapid, like a clear report signaling that the deployed strategy had proven effective. After the loud blasts, the wild boar began to panic and flee towards the south of the forest. I informed Nick of the checkpoint location, and he quickly positioned himself, patiently observing every movement. There it was. It suddenly darted across. The opportunity had come. Nick tightened his finger on the trigger. A swift, precise shot. The prey collapsed right on the spot. A victory earned through patience and precision in every moment. Suspecting that wild boars were still hiding in this area, we continued to scan every nook and cranny. The tension hung in the air, my hand never loosening its grip on the rifle. As soon as the target entered the crosshairs, my finger tightened on the trigger. Perfect! A sense of satisfaction surged through me. All those hours of training had finally paid off. This area, with its limited visibility, was no match for our sharp eyes. Every step, every movement was meticulously planned, ready to take down the prey flawlessly. Just a few minutes later, the target emerged. A decisive shot rang out, and the beast collapsed among the trees. The prize secured, beyond our expectations. Sweat mixed with smiles as the efforts of a long day's hunt were finally rewarded. The hunt ended, not just with a victory, but as a testament to our skill and unwavering spirit of perseverance.